Mr. Kahl, you testified to Senator Tillis that you were not yet sworn in when President Biden announced his decision to withdraw from Afghanistan a few weeks ago. In our closed session, you had dismissively told Senator Ernst that you were on your couch during that period. While you were on your couch, were you preparing for your confirmation hearing and then to take the office you now hold?
It was after my confirmation hearing, and I was preparing as best I could by reading the newspaper and open source materials. I was not in the Pentagon.
From the time you were nominated to the time you were confirmed, did you speak with National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan?
I don't believe so.
Never once?
No, I was under instruction not to do anything that would presume confirmation.
Okay. But you were following the news through open sources. At one point, did you become aware of President Biden's decision to withdraw all of our troops in Afghanistan by September 11th?
On April 14th.
When he announced it to the nation?
Yes, sir.
From your couch, what was your opinion on whether we should withdraw those troops or whether we should remain some residual troop presence in Afghanistan?
Well, I think, as I said in my testimony during my confirmation hearing, I think it was an exchange with Senator Hawley. I was supportive of a conditions-based drawdown, conditioned most prominently on a peace agreement between the Afghan government and the Taliban.
And did President Biden's decision to withdraw all troops by September 11th comport with that conditions-based drawdown?
It did not.
Once you were confirmed, did you express a personal opinion similar to what this committee has heard from Secretary Austin and Generals Miller, McKenzie, and Milley that we should maintain a small residual troop presence in Afghanistan?
Well, by the time I came in office, the debate had moved on. The president had made his decision, and we were executing on that decision. I was involved in what our presence should look like at the U.S. Embassy and at the airport to make sure that we could safeguard the embassy, and I was involved in the oversight of the retrograde and neo-planning.
So you did or did not have a personal opinion on that matter?
My personal opinion never changed, but by the time I came into office, the president had made his decision, and we were moving out on that decision.
Did you agree that September 11th was an appropriate date by which to withdraw?
I have no insight into why that date was picked.
Since you've been confirmed, you've never once spoken to Secretary Austin or Jake Sullivan or anyone else in the administration about why September 11th was chosen?
I have not.
In retrospect, do you believe September 11th was a wise date by which to withdraw from Afghanistan?
I don't know.
The Biden administration has also said that there was no intelligence indicating that the Afghan National Army would collapse so quickly. Were you also surprised by the speed in which the Afghan security forces collapsed?
I think we were all surprised by the speed.
Are you aware that the intelligence from the intelligence community consistently shortened the timeline of their assessment of how long the Afghan government could survive from a matter of years at the end of last year to a matter of weeks at the end of July?
Yeah, in fact, by August, I think on the eve of the fall of Kabul, they were down to days to weeks. But yes, it went from years to months to years to weeks to months and then to days to weeks.
General Miller has testified that in June there was a brief pause at the drawdown and ultimate closure at the Bagram Air Base to decide whether or not it should proceed. Obviously, it did proceed. Was it your opinion in late June, given the conditions you saw in Afghanistan, that the closure of Bagram Air Base should proceed?
It was General Miller's recommendation. My recollection is, the president, of course, had instructed the department to leave Afghanistan. So there was no scenario in which we were going to leave Afghanistan and not close Bagram Airfield. And the residual mission was at the embassy and at HKIA, which is where the concentration of the few hundred forces we would have left beyond August, that's where they would have been concentrated.
Okay. In 2011, Mr. Kahl, in your role as the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East, you stated the following: despite the often exaggerated media narrative that depicts Iraq on the verge of unraveling, the underlying security situation remains strong. Unfortunately, not long after that statement, Iraq was very much on the verge of unraveling. The Islamic State rose and rampaged across Syria and Iraq, and a third of Iraq collapsed, which necessitated a new counter-terrorist operation. You couldn't foresee the unraveling of Iraq. You didn't foresee the unraveling of Afghanistan. Are there any other countries that may be about to cause national security debacles for America that you think you are not foreseeing now?
I don't know. I've pay pretty close attention. I think we're focused on the counterterrorism front, on Somalia, the growth of violent extremists in places like the Sahel. We continue to have to be vigilant in Iraq and in Syria and in Yemen, and as we've talked about earlier in this hearing, in Afghanistan. And then, of course, there are even greater challenges when it comes to China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. So there's a lot that we have to focus on.
There are many challenges out there. Let's hope that we foresee them a little bit better than we have in the past.
Thank you, Senator Cotton. Senator